Welcome to the Tailgate. On this week's episode, we'll be grilling some Bruschetta Burgers and talking Week 2 football. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Tailgate. I am Armando. For those of you who don't know me, I've been in the fantasy sports industry since 2010. You can actually find my work at footballdiehards.com, at the DraftKings Playbook. I am also the host of the Chalk Talk podcast, and I also manage the 1 Week Season Twitter handle. I wanted to create this show to combine three things I love doing: talking fantasy sports, grilling, and drinking some good craft beer. What I'll be doing each week is talking to you about the lock of the week if you're a betting man. If you play DFS or you play fantasy sports, I'll be talking about some stardom sit-ups, some value plays, and we'll be talking about some of the chalk plays, whether you want to play them or not. What we got on the menu today are some Bruschetta Burgers. I found the recipe online. I'll shoot the link down there for you guys. I also got Triple Tail Sweetwater IPA. I'll be doing this every week, and it's the MVP, Most Valuable Beer. We're going to kick this off with my goal prediction of the season. So my goal prediction for the season is Eli Manning finishes it as a top 12 quarterback. This is the second week of the season, so many may think I'm crazy because he had a terrible week 1. I agree, he did not look good, but that's fine. He played the Jacksonville Jaguars, which came into the season ranked as the number 1 pass defense in the league. They were number 1 last season, and it's a very tough matchup. I really like the weapons that he has surrounded himself around. You got Saquon Barkley running the ball, Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard, and Evan Ingram. The offensive line has also improved. There's many ways that he can be a top 12 quarterback this season, and I peg him for a top 12 performance, even though he had a bad week 1. This is your lock of the week. If you're placing any bets this weekend, I really like taking the New England Patriots on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're 1-point favorites. New England was 11-5 against the spread last year. Jacksonville is dealing with some injuries, and the running back, Leonard Fournette, is questionable to play. So if he does not play, they lose their key part of the offense. I really like Tom Brady and company to go in there and get a victory. While I slice up the mozzarella, let's head over to the bargain bin. So some value has opened up this weekend because of injuries. To start off, Devin Funchess at Atlanta. He's at 4,700 over at DraftKings. Very cheap, very affordable, especially with Greg Olsen not on the field this weekend. In fact, Greg Olsen is going to be out for a while, so Funchess is going to be a very good value play this week. His numbers increased drastically with Olsen off the field. About 3 or 4 more targets per game, about 20 more receiving yards per game. Another guy I really like this week is Tevin Coleman. Devontae Freeman has been ruled out for this week, so Coleman will be running the ball, will be catching passes out of the backfield. He's only 5,300. The usage is going to be extremely high for him this week. I like him quite a bit. Someone's going to be probably a staple of my cash games this weekend. Another guy I like, Jalen Richard, 3,400 over at DraftKings. Very affordable. He is not a big time runner, but he does catch passes out of the backfield. Last week he saw 11 targets, caught 9 passes against the Rams. This is a very similar matchup here against the Broncos. Very good defending on the outside, so the receivers are going to be locked up, but they are vulnerable in the middle of the field, and that's where I expect Richard to get a ton of the yardage out of the backfield, catching passes. In addition to that, they're going to be chasing points as Denver is favored at home, so this is a good spot for Richard to see plenty of looks through the air. So the last thing I want to go over today are some chalk plays, whether you should play them or you should fade them. chalk I'm avoiding this week is Tyreek Hill. He's coming off a huge performance where he scored 3 touchdowns and 40 DK fantasy points. And this week he has another matchup where it's enticing because it's expected to be a shootout. It's the highest over/under of the slate at 53.5 points versus the Steelers. The problem is that there's so many other receivers in that price range that I feel can have a much better game, have easier matchups, and are also going to be much less owned. So I am okay with fading the Tyreek Hill. I do like him. I think he's a very talented receiver, but this is not a necessary week to plug him in. Now on the other end, there is chalk I am going to play, and this week it's going to go James Conner. He had an amazing week 1. His price has increased $1,200, and now he faces a team on the opposite end in the Chiefs that allowed plenty of receiving yards last week. I believe it was 14 receptions for over 100 yards to the Chargers running backs. Conner, the game script will not affect him. He's going to be in there for every down so long as he's covering for Le'Veon Bell. And then even at 6,700, the usage is just through the roof in a matchup that should score a lot of points. Really like him this week. I am going to eat that chalk with no problem whatsoever. Let's see how we did. Thank you for joining me today at the Tailgate. If you like the show, subscribe below, tell a friend, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Good luck this weekend, and I'll see you next week.